electric wood. The guitar case opens with a shudder to reveal the electric shock of lacquered wood and the metallic slap of tight strings. Ambroxan for the punch of wood in an overdose of cedar.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And in this video, I want to take a moment to talk to you a little bit about a brand that I recently discovered. It's called Room 1015, and the fragrance in particular that we're going to be talking about today is called Electric Wood. Now this fragrance is a 2015 release, and there were two perfumers who worked on this project, and they go by the names Amélie Bourgeois and Anne-Sophie Behagel. Now, the creative director for this brand, his name is Dr. Mike, and he has the title of doctor because he used to work as a pharmacist. I had the pleasure of meeting him not too long ago, and he and I spoke for about a half hour, and he told me a lot about his brand. This fragrance in particular, with the name Electric Wood, it's actually supposed to recreate the smell of his first guitar. So it's actually a pretty neat synchronicity. I also have a lot of the same guitars that he has, like a Gibson Firebird, a Gibson SG, and he plays in a band. He's been in this band for about 10 years, and it was about 5 years or so that he had the conception, the idea, to create fragrances that correlate or correspond to different parts of his life, but it also works to fulfill this concept of the rock aesthetic. So he has 4 fragrances in total as of now. He has one called Atramental, which is supposed to be evocative of his tattoos. So it's supposed to recreate the smell of laser and antiseptic and burning skin and the ink that goes into the tattoos that the tattoos are made of. So it's a really, really cool and fun and interesting concept. And the only other thing that's slightly evocative of this is Imaginary Authors, where they have a book that corresponds to their perfume. Here, it's actually a song that corresponds to the perfume. I actually have it here in front of me. He put out a record, a vinyl record, and each song in this is supposed to correspond with each different perfume. So it's a really interesting fragrance. I'm excited to tell you guys a little bit more about it, and it's classified as a woody spicy. Let's start things off by taking a look at the presentation. So here on the box, you have the name of the fragrance, really cool design on it. And on the inside of the box, you have a silhouette with the bottle carved into it. Really cool, so it doesn't shift around in transit. And here's the bottle. You have this marble cap. You have the name printed here on the front. You have a sticker at the bottom with your information. And this is one of the coolest sprayers because you can control how much you want to spray, kind of like Creed's and Dior's. And the distribution is great. And that has been the presentation for Room 1015's Electric Wood. Now, there isn't much talk about this brand online yet, but one of my subscribers writes, "It has a unique name and the bottle looks cool too. Would love to try that." So what you're going to notice about this fragrance when it opens up is that it does smell like a guitar. I have many guitars. I have about 8, and I've been playing since I was about 13 years old, and I remember the smell of my very first guitar, which was this Ibanez acoustic electric with a transparent red sunburst finish on it. And I remember the smell of it when you first open it up, and it's such a nostalgic, sentimental scent for me, which I think is the reason why I decided to buy this fragrance. And I went up to Dr. Mike and I said, "Which fragrance do you think would suit me best?" And he told me this one without me even telling him that I thought about buying this one. So it sort of confirmed or validated what I was thinking in my mind all along. Anyways, what do you get when you smell this one? When it opens up, you're going to get this vetiver note. And I know it's not listed as a note. It might be the vetiver, it might be some resins that are coming into play, but there's this smell of sort of a smoky, a little harsh, but not necessarily aggressive vetiver note. The closest scent that I can compare this to is one by Lorenzo Villoresi, and it's called Vetiver. I know it kind of has a vibe to Encre Noir by Lalique or even Sycamore by Chanel, but it's very different from those. Another scent that I think this one kind of reminds me of is Dior Sauvage, and that's because this contains a very strong note of ambroxan. And ambroxan is a synthetic version of ambergris, which is this very expensive ingredient, and it has this sort of staticky olfactory texture, and it's such a gorgeous scent. And the way that he's combined it with the resins and the spicy note of nutmeg, which doesn't come through too strongly, so it's weird and it's a little disparate in the way that the notes are blended with one another, because it has this harsh appeal in the opening, but then it settles to something incredibly wearable, incredibly unisex, and that's definitely what Dr. Mike was going for. He himself told me that he wants to create fragrances that can be worn by anybody, and I think that this is such a wonderful scent, and it's definitely unique. So when it does dry down, you are going to get a lot of a cedarwood note, and it's a cedarwood note that I've smelled before in Mr. Marvelous by Byredo, which I always said is one of my favorite cedarwood notes. This might actually take the cake. I think they're actually tied for first place now. Such a gorgeous scent. And it also reminds me a little bit of Super Cedar by Byredo. It also reminds me a little bit of Cedra Atlas by Atelier Cologne. Nonetheless, it's a wonderful scent, very different. We also have a giveaway at the end of this video. So after I tell you guys what my rating for this is, I'm gonna let you know what you need to do to enter the giveaway, and good luck. First, I took a look at the uniqueness and overall smell, and this is an incredibly unique fragrance. Not only have I received compliments with it, but I personally love the smell. It is very unique. It is evocative of some other fragrances, but it stands in its own right. It's a wonderful scent. Next up, we took a look at longevity, and the longevity for this one is okay. It's a little bit above average, but it's not excellent. You're gonna get about 8 hours from this one, so 7 to 8 hours, but that's okay considering the concentration, but also the compositional nature, because it does have the cedarwood and this vetiver note that I pick up on. I know those two notes could be a little bit too dominant or a little too aggressive. Maybe aggressive isn't the right word, so it actually performs just the way that I want it to, which leads me into projection. You're gonna get a good 2 hours of projection within an arm's length. It's not too loud. That's one thing that I do have to say about this scent, but I personally think that the performance is right where it needs to be. Versatility on this one is great. It has this high class feel to it, but I feel like it can also be worn casually, especially considering that it's tantamount to the price that you would pay for a high-end designer. It's $130 or $135 for 100 milliliters, and it goes a long way because it is eau de parfum. So I think the versatility is great. I can personally see this being worn in all seasons because of the ambroxan note. I think it's very versatile. I think anybody could wear, a man or a woman, and I never like to put age on fragrance. Just a recommendation, but I think anybody from college all the way up to somebody in their 60s or 70s can wear this one. And lastly, presentation I think is beautiful, but I also have to factor in all of the other things that he's doing to it, all of the extra accessories like the vinyl records and the informational pamphlets and the guitar picks and this entire concept. Listen, if I had to give this fragrance an overall score, in all honesty, I would give it about a 9 out of 10. The reason I give it a 9 out of 10 is because the longevity isn't right where it needs to be. I'm okay with the projection and it not projecting too loudly, but the longevity, I feel like it could have been a little bit longer. There are a lot of base notes and fixatives in here, but personally, this is a wonderful scent. You really need to check it out. Incredibly unique. I think it's a very easygoing sort of casual scent that could be worn dressed up. What a phenomenal scent. So guys, let me take a moment to tell you guys, how can you enter this giveaway? So I want you to show some love to Room 1015. So if you can go on their Instagram and their Facebook and just like or follow them on Instagram and like their Facebook page. I'm going to leave all that information down below. That's all you need to do to enter. But I also, please do me a favor, make sure you're subscribed to my channel and leave a comment down below. I want you to tell me, after you've checked out all of their websites, all of their fragrances on their website, which one do you think you'd want to get? Which one appeals to you the most? So here's what you're going to end up winning. So you're going to end up winning a sample of every single fragrance from their collection. You're going to end up winning a vinyl record with 5 songs on it. Each song corresponds to all of the different fragrances. If you don't have a record player, you can also find the songs online. You're going to win a guitar pick. You're going to win a few test strips. You're going to win some informational pamphlets. So guys, thank you so much for entering. Good luck. And thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. We'll see you in the next episode.